Howdy do, buckaroos. Welcome back to the channel. Over here working on the Racetruck today, doing something a little bit different, not messing with the engine, but something that supplies the engine. We're doing a little bit of fuel cell upgrading today. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I figured since the truck was tore apart, we can upgrade this thing like I wanted it to and make it that much better. I will flip the camera around and show you guys what we're doing today. Alright, so here's the old dingy fuel cell. It's just a cheapo 15-gallon one I bought from a friend for $40. It's served me fine, but we are going to upgrade it a little bit. I'm going to end up shooting a coat of paint on it just to make it look a little better. But my main focus was this thing. If you guys have ever dealt with these cheaper fuel cells with the plastic lids, you know they leak all the time. And you can see all the stains where it seeps out and leaks, and these are a pain to get sealed sometimes, and the O-rings are junk, and these are just junk. So what we're gonna do is upgrade it to one of these aluminum ones. Much better unit. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. Here, I'm gonna set the phone down just a second so I can break that loose. Of course it was easy. Like I said, nice billet aluminum setup. Has a much bigger opening. Nice, good threads, so you're not trying to mess with. This one's kind of a. See, it's kind of a quarter turn deal. Yeah. And it's just got those 3 tabs you line up right here. And then when you turn the top, it locks this over so it doesn't slide out of the grooves that are in here. And with this big O-ring on them, they're just a real pain to get to seal up, and when it gets hot out they just start seeping around these gaskets because the plastic doesn't seal very good, and they leak out of this O-ring. And just like I said, it's a cheap fuel cell, but this is also cheap as well. This was about $30 for this whole billet aluminum setup. It's got the nice good O-ring on here, and again, like I said, it threads on and off. It's nice and solid. Comes with the new nice thick rubber gasket. So we're going to be swapping that out today and shooting a coat of paint on this thing, which I'm really excited for. So after I painted the whole frame on this and everything, this thing is an eyesore now. Before, it kind of blended in with everything because the frame wasn't painted and axles weren't painted and all that stuff. But now, between the old battery that I'm trying to bring back to life and this fuel cell, those are the two only eyesores left. Disregard the wiring. I'm trying to rewire all this stuff now that I got rid of the old cross member that the wiring ran along. I kind of have it started up over here. Still got to tie this back and this one, but rewiring in my license plate lights, which I just used some insulated like loom clamps and clamped it to the bar here, clamped the plate on, and this is just a cheapo $10 AutoZone license plate light that you just wire up to power, which I need to redo a couple wires, but that's coming. The focus today is going to be this guy, and hopefully bringing a battery back to life, and maybe we'll see some dash lights come on. So I'm going to get this pulled out, and we're going to start swapping this cap over and see how that goes. Alright guys, as you can see, the pattern, I thought it said for the standard 12 bolt pattern, which is what this was, but it was just ever so slightly off. Let's see if we can. So that hole's lined up there, and that one's about half a hole off. So what I did is stuck 4 bolts in it that I could get to line up, and then I just took the old trusty Matco Hyper Step bits and old Milwaukee, of course. I guess Snap-on helped a little bit too, but the only red I bleed is the Milwaukee. But kind of used this as a jig and re-drilled the holes, just kind of oblogged them a little bit. But as you can see, I didn't have to touch that one, that one, that one, and that one, and then just slightly oblonged these ones to make this line up. And I'm actually going to modify it, because the way the factory one was bolted on was this plastic ring in the bottom, which is very easy to strip, and that's why they like to leak, because you can't get them very tight. So what I did was went over to the bolt bin and got some 12 new bolts, and what I'm going to end up doing is going from the inside like that and basically use the bolt as a stud, stick my hand through the hole there, up through the bottom, stick the nut on, go all the way around that way, and then tighten it down that way. And then I will ensure that they're all nice and tight, not relying on a old plastic ring that's been in there for years to keep these guys tight. So now what I'm going to do is kind of deburr these after I drilled them, but what I'm going to do is go grab my DA sander and kind of rough this thing up, clean it up, shoot it with some primer, and then we're going to debate on what color to paint this thing. So let me go grab the DA sander and we will get to sanding on this thing. There we go guys, as you can see, got her all scuffed up and smoothed out. It feels a lot better than it looks, I promise, but again, it's not going to be a perfect show piece. If it was, I'd just sandblast it and throw it in our powder coat oven, but eventually I'm probably end up with the smaller fuel cell, but here we are. So, sanded it all down with the palm sander, gave her a good wipe down with brake clean, which I'm probably going to have to do again because I just wiped my hands all over it, but I'm going to find a place to hang it. We're going to shoot some primer on it, and then I'm going to go over with you guys what I think I'm going to do for a paint job. So let me get this hung up and throw some primer on it. Alright, so we got her all in primer. This totally was supposed to be gray, and as you can see me running back and forth in the time lapse, I went through 3 different cans of gray that decided not to work before I landed on brown, which whatever, it's going to be covered up, but no one likes the brown primer. You can see it's kind of tiger striping, but that's because it's drying. And you'll even see in the time lapse, I had to hold this dadgum thing upside down like this, because if you hold it straight up and down, it's air. You flip it over and it's primer. Air, primer. So, it was a pain, but got her all in primer. What I ended up doing is putting the old lid back on to keep the sealing surface clean, so that way I'd get a good seal with the gasket. so that'll come back off. And I ended up pulling all my fuel fittings off, and I have a bunch of these dash 10 caps, so all the threads will be nice and clean. As you can see, you got a couple caps right there as well. It'll all be nice and clean. The sealing surface clean. These threads and these sealing surfaces will be clean. Get her shot up in some paint and we'll be good to go. So let this dry a minute, and then we will shoot some paint on this bad boy. Alright guys, so it appears there was a technical difficulty on either the phone's part or my part, but I wasn't able to record the actual painting of the fuel cell. The primer dried up and I thought I was recording the painting, but I don't know if I didn't hit record or if it just didn't save like it was supposed to, but it's painted now. So if you know me or if you've watched the channel long enough, you probably have a good guess of what color this thing's painted. I was trying to do a fancy paint job with this color and another color, and it just wasn't turning out like I wanted, so I just scratched all that and painted it all one color. So you could probably guess by now what color I painted it, but without further ado, I'm gonna show you what color I painted it. Ba-boom! Of course I painted it John Deere green. Now it ain't no SEMA paint job, but actually it might be better than some of the SEMA paint jobs, but it's just a raggedy old fuel cell. So I was actually trying to do like a half and half fade paint from green to John Deere yellow, but it just wasn't looking like I wanted it to, so I just greened the whole daggum thing. But it turned out pretty dang good for old rattle can primer and old rattle can paint and some tractor paint. But it's nice and smooth, and like I said, I put this one on here just to cover up my sealing surface for the new lid. So I think this thing's gonna look real sharp with all the nice new anodized fittings on it and the nice billet aluminum lid and the nice paint job, and it's just gonna be nice. Which I guess I could grab it and we could kind of at least hold it up to it and see, kind of get an idea. Oh yeah, that's gonna look good, boys. Real good. A lot better. So I think it turned out pretty sharp just for a hour project here on a Saturday, just dolling her up a little bit. Plus it's gonna be much better with the new lid. No more leaks too. Funny fact, this dent here actually happened during a race, because I had the fuel cell mounted and then I lowered the rear of the truck and I didn't think about the fuel cell, and it was before I had traction bars, and this thing squatted down so hard after I lowered it, because I went down to the 2 leaf springs. It actually hit the top of the old diff, and let's see if I can zoom in. You can actually see right there on the drive line, right there, that before I put the traction bars on it, axle wrapped so hard, those bolts hit that part of the drive line right there. So yeah, let me zoom back out. So the whole axle went like this and dented the drive line, hence why it has traction bars now, and hence why I mounted the fuel cell way higher. Last year I just made some tall, like couple inch tall spacers to pick it up, so when it squatted down it wouldn't hit the diff anymore. But of course now it's mounted behind the diff, not a worry in the world anymore. So always check your clearances. I was dadgum lucky didn't put a hole in it, and so far so good. And now it's got a bunch of paint shoved in it to seal the hole, so now it's even better. But I figured I'd just show you guys this little project I've been meaning to do for a while. Ordered the lid a while ago, which if anyone wants the link, I honestly just ordered it off eBay. It's just look up fuel cell cap or fuel cell lid. I can't remember exactly what word I put, but nice billet aluminum solid piece. Had to waller out those couple holes, but it'll work out just fine. The seal will work perfect. Like I said, I'm going to put the bolts in from the bottom, get rid of that plastic ring. Be a little harder to service, but I don't know when I would need to take the lid back off once I get it on and sealed, so not really a big worry. I'd rather it just be sealed once and be sealed good. Got her nice and painted up so it won't be an eyesore in the back of the truck anymore. everything's gonna be nice, painted up nice, which I've been meaning to do for years and years now, but now it's finally getting done. So once this paint dries, it'll probably be tomorrow. I'll get that lid put on, we'll get the fuel cell back in the truck, we will get the fuel lines hooked up, and honestly we're probably gonna put some fuel in it, because that's how daggum close we are to getting this thing to start. I am honestly waiting on some welding rod so I can finish, or not really finish, but start welding the intercooler piping. So that will be the next video. That and my in-cab fuel controller mounting and routing, that will be one of the next videos as well. So be looking out for both of those videos coming up soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe, comment what you think about the John Deere Green. You guys already know the engine's John Deere Green. I figured throw a little bit of it out here just to kind of make it pop and stand out a little bit instead of just doing the plain old black. And it goes with the theme of the old race tractor. And I honestly think, just as a spoof, I'm going to go down to the local Tractor Supply and get a reflective orange triangle, put it right on the back of the fuel cell, just to go with the race tractor theme. But like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when all these videos are coming out. And thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.